What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Willsville spam. I got my ring back, finally. Sized, resized, and got the diamond set down a little lower because it kept getting loose, and went to this really awesome jeweler here in Vegas that told me it was becoming loose because of how it was set. So got a whole new redesign, and just feels so good to have this back instead of the little silicone ring that I've been wearing for the last 8 months. So anywho, the other day I was looking through some old photos and videos, and I came across this footage of a day that we went skiing up in Alaska at Alyeska, which is the ski resort there close to Anchorage, and had every intention of turning it into a video for this channel, and I never did. So I want to get this skiing vlog up on this channel so that selfishly I could just go back and watch it whenever I want. You know, in 20 years down the road, and I'll have this memory in video format. I think that's one of the things I love most about YouTube, because Jessie and I think we've shared this in the past, but Jessie's sister used to be a YouTuber, and actually a really successful one up in Alaska. She doesn't do it anymore, but yeah, she had like 30,000 subscribers, and she had been doing it for like 6 or 7 years or something, and we always just thought it was so funny. And woo, what is that? Holy crap, what is that thing? Oh. Whoa. It's on the camera. What the heck is that? It's like a giant beetle, and it's like fluorescent green. It's on the camera right now.
Big chicken.
Woo! I think I overreacted a little bit right there, but either way, I do not like bugs, and I don't know what the heck that thing was. I'll look it up here and try and put it up, whatever that was. It was really cool looking. It was like this giant fat beetle, and it's like really cool green on it, but anyways, can't remember where I was. Oh yeah, Jessie's sister. She was a YouTuber and just vlogged her life and had all those subscribers, and we always just thought it was so interesting, and we were like, we could never do that. And one of the reasons why she did YouTube was so that she could go back and look at these memories that she had created over 6-7 years, and some of her kids weren't even born yet. And so it was a really cool video journal diary for her, and that's what this has become for us. We never ever thought we would be YouTubers, but here we are, and it's just such a fun platform to be able to create these memories and connect with you, who are mostly our friends and family, but there's some people out there that we have never met in real life, but know you from this channel, so we appreciate the support and the views. So thank you for watching and subscribing. And anyways, back to this video. So be on the lookout for the skiing video here soon. And then I had the idea to post a few other Alaska themed videos, I guess. So there might be a couple of those here on the channel next, and potentially a house update video thrown in there. So yeah, should be exciting. So today's video, which is Alaska themed, is kind of a bittersweet video, because today is August 19th, and it's officially the first day of the Alaska State Fair. This is something every Alaskan looks forward to. Well, I should say every proper Alaskan looks forward to every year. I think it goes on for about 2 weeks, and I think it really is one of the best state fairs in the country. We've been to a few other ones, and maybe it's just because the Alaska State Fair is what we've always known our whole life, but it's up there. The food is insane, and in a good way, and the rides are fun, and concerts are good, and it's just an overall awesome time. And if you haven't seen on our channel, I think it was about a year ago, we posted a video talking about the infamous fair buttons, and I'm gonna tag that video onto the end of this so you can see what I'm talking about in more detail and see the actual pictures. But in short, we for the last 10 years have taken a family photo at the fair. Growing up in Alaska, you would see these fair button photos like on people's fridges or like or like pins, and it usually would have like a tie-dye background or whatever, but so many people get them, and it's just kind of a tradition, and again, you just kind of see your family grow over the years. So we have gone to the fair as a family for the last 10 years together, and this is the first year that we're not going, so that's the bitter part about today and being here in Vegas. But the sweet part about it is that it's such a fun memory, and again, we get to share it with you here on this channel if you haven't already watched that video from a year ago. My sweet husband had this idea, which he didn't tell me about until after we took the photo, that he was gonna look different. And I didn't quite understand like how extreme he was gonna go. And I don't know if he knew like what the fair button would take on, but it was such a fun tradition, and so many people were involved, like even people we didn't know, because we would post it every year on social media, and people like looked forward to this time of year when the fair happened to see what kind of look Jess was gonna do. So yeah, the first one, he made this face, and then we get the photo, and I'm like, what the heck? Why are you smiling like that? And he's like, okay, well, here's my plan. Every year I'm gonna look different. I'm gonna wear the same jacket, but I'm gonna look different somehow. And then on year 10, I'm gonna look normal. And at that point we didn't have kids yet, but that was like a loose plan. Like, he's gonna do it for 10 years. And we did it. I'm gonna stop talking now and just let the video that we filmed previously go more into detail about each year's look and a little story behind how Jesse came up with it, and then eventually how, spoiler alert, how the kids and I came up with our looks for year 10. So.
Part of the inspiration was to start a long-running joke that would one day result in the kids looking at the photos and just being like, man, what is up with our dad? You know what I mean? Like, is dad normal? Is he like, is he a little crazy? Is he a little weird? Like, where's this coming from, From there, I just let the process run its course, and I knew the reaction I wanted to get from the kids when they were older, 10 years down the road, and just did something every year to stay in line with that.
This was year 1. Pretty sure I was pregnant in this photo. What year was that?
You were definitely pregnant. We found out you were pregnant on August 16th.
Aww. Mm-hmm. And year 2. Tell us about this look.
The main thing I was going for there was the handlebar mustache, which was a lot of fun. Well, it looks so bad when it's coming in, but once it kind of came in and I shaved it, I was like, this is pretty cool. And then I just grabbed some glasses. I think we wore those glasses for the wedding. And yeah, I wasn't really trying super hard there, other than growing out my mustache for like 9 months or something.
Year 3.
Year 3.
So, funny side note, we were talking to Jess's sister, and we were talking through the fair photos, and she was like, what was that ball you put on your chin for year 3? And we were like, what are you talking about? And she's like, that on Jesse's chin, that ball.
And I was like, that's my face.
Can you make that ball again?
I don't know.
I don't know how you did that. Oh yeah, there it is, a little bit. No, that's your double chin.
It was an easy thing to do. We were obviously super busy around that time.
So I think I was pregnant with Nash there.
You were pregnant with Nash. I just tried to do something easy, and you could tell I didn't put a lot of prep in, because ideally I would have grown my hair out longer so that that part down the middle would have been more pronounced or noticeable. But
the second one's funny.
I mean, it's unmistakable, so it was a good year, but it was not a ton of prep.
Year 4 is where I feel like he really started to step up his game.
Yeah, because once we had 3 buttons on the fridge, and all 3 of them were like, what is going on with these fair photos? Then I was like, okay, now it's game on. I've sort of set the pace, and now we got to just click it up a notch.
He actually shaved the top of his head.
Not only did I shave it, but I baked it. In other words, I used a razor to shave it. And what's crazy is it's still pretty gray. So the mistake I made that year was not using makeup to cover up that gray. But it's still a shaved head. There's no missing that. And then that mustache was a glue-on kind, because I realized too late this bald dude definitely needs a mustache. I would say that's actually my favorite year.
Really?
Yeah. Look at the facial expression.
Facial hair.
That is pretty good.
Nailed it that year with the facial expression.
Yeah.
And
That one was good.
I can still remember sitting there going, okay, what does this guy look like? And, you know, given all his past life experiences and like the hardships, the small wins that he, you know, just let carry him for years, then he loses his hair. He's got 2 small kids. You know, the guy's barely hanging on. And he just wants to take a nice family photo. And then all that just came down into this, like, this perfect facial expression for the bald dude trying to phone it in with a mustache and just hold it together for the wife and kids.
All right. Or we're up to year, what was that 5?
Yeah.
This one was fun because my mom worked with a gal named Amy that is really good at doing braids. And so we paid her, I think $300, or no, $100, and Jess sat with her for like 3 hours while she did the braids.
I had grown my hair out that year in preparation. Already had the sweet glasses, picked up a gold grill, and just sent it. Here's the funny thing about that year. Because of scheduling, I had to do the braids at like 4 in the afternoon the day before we went to the fair. Then I had to teach a class that night. So I sat in front of a bunch of people with a hat on for like 10 minutes trying to teach this class. I'm burning up, sweating, and I'm like, look, everyone, I have to take my hat off. And then you're gonna have to take me seriously for the rest of this class. So, are you ready? And everyone was like, what is this guy talking about? And so I took it off, and everyone, you know, was like, oh, they just lose it. And I still had to teach the class. So that was an interesting experience. No one took it serious, by the way, so no learning happened that night.
But laughs were had.
Laughs were had, and it was very uncomfortable.
Well, this year, he couldn't just take those braids out because it took so long to put them in. So he had to walk around like that all day, which was...
And I had to walk.
Yeah. And I got a lot of looks. And I made the fair Instagram that year.
Yeah, that was fun.
Somehow they got a picture of me and posted that, so.
And I'll put a photo up of the aftermath when we took out the beads.
Oh yeah, I look like Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, Sideshow Bob?
Yeah, Sideshow Bob.
Year 6.
This was another one where I had the idea from years prior. It's an easy idea. Dad goes goth one year. And I just kept imagining like, oh yeah, that year our dad was real spun out and he tried goth. And it didn't last, thankfully, but you know, it was just a rough phase for all of us. Here's the crazy thing about that year. This was the second day and the second time we had taken that photo. And the second time I had done all my makeup and hair and all that. Do you have the other picture?
I'll put it up on the screen.
So we go to the fair. I'm all done up. And Emery decides that she is not into the photo that year. And basically is crying, throwing a fit, super mad, won't stop crying. And we sit down to do the photo. We're bribing her. We're threatening her. We're doing anything possible to just get the photo done. Because I had done goth makeup and was walking around the fair like that. And this was, I mean, this was year, what was it, year 5, 6?
6.
6 years in, and this little girl was not going to ruin it for me. So we sit down and take the photo, and she's all turned around, and I can't do anything about it. She was fully in control, and we just had to deal with it. We start driving home that night, and I'm like, we got to go back tomorrow. And we had that talk on the way home. We're like, hey, kids, Emery, we're going to go back tomorrow. We're going to do this photo right. And we bribed them and worked out a deal. And went back and got that photo.
All right, this one is probably my favorite year, personally, just because it's so
Funny.
drastic and funny, and Nash's face is great.
Let me see.
And the fun thing is those contacts are like white contacts, and when he was trying them on the night before, Emery didn't know that he was going to have them and totally freaked her out.
Like, they're very
This one probably took the most prep out of all the years so far.
Yeah, contrary to everyone's first impression, powder was not the inspiration for this. I don't even know who powder
You
is.
could have just used oatmeal.
Is it some dude in a movie or something?
Yes, it's a movie called Powder, and he's got like special powers.
Okay, well, I've never seen it. I've only heard of it because people think that's who I was. But the most important thing about this whole run is that I'm not trying to be someone else. I'm just trying to come across as like confusing, like kind of get it, but not really for the most part. So the original idea was just to shave my head, shave my eyebrows, just go completely hairless. And I was like, man, I can't do that. Like that was too much because your eyebrows take, what is it, 9 years to grow back or something? So I went, okay, what I could do is just, do the makeup version of what I was thinking. And then I thought, let's just one up it and get contacts to go full white. And it'll be just the most epic year ever. You go to look at a family photo and immediately you're like, what in the world? And that's the effect I was going for.
You nailed it.
But man, I was the most mortified ever walking around with hair like that. I tried to cover up as best I could, but it was
Yeah.
really difficult.
So the fair is about a 45-minute drive from our house. Well, maybe like an hour because we're on the west side of town now. And then you have to wait in line, get your tickets, and you have to go to the photo booth. Then you have to wait in line there. And so he had to get this makeup ready first thing in the morning in Anchorage. And so we had to drive all the way out there like this. And then he put those contacts in, I think in the car, right? And you can't see. I mean, everything's very blurry and fuzzy. And so I'm having to like help him walk. And then
This is awesome.
he's like, as we're in line at the fair, he's like, oh shoot, I lost one of them. And we were like freaking
Which
out.
ruined the whole thing. We ordered those special online.
Yeah.
Turns out it just rolled in the back of my eye, and I had to like blink, and it started to come down, and I just recentered it. It was nerve-wracking. And then Crystal ran into someone we knew, and I'm trying to like not engage. It was the most difficult year for sure.
All right, now here we go with year 8. Started to gain a following. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
at
what
this
year
point-
that happened, but people started asking you, like, what are you going to be this year?
Yeah, you were always posting them on your Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, people were like, can't wait to see the photo this year. And it added this unique pressure. And I was like, don't know how I feel about this, because from the beginning, it was something I was doing for the kids. It was basically a joke on the kids and not a performance for anyone else. So that year, to like basically brush people back, I went with basically this. And it's really hard to explain, but it's this sort of underwhelming reveal. We did work kind of hard to get the right size bag and draw the face on well, and we're like, okay, line thickness, we can't do too thick or too thin. So we put some effort into it for sure, but this was my way of saying, no, I'm not putting on a show here for you people. You can watch all you want, but this is my experience, and I'll do whatever I want with it. Not that I didn't appreciate the support, the following, it was all kind of fun, but basically when you see this, and you know about the run, you're like, oh, what's he going to do this year? It better be good. That's this sort of undertone that just gets out and gets into my head. And so I'm like, I'm just going to put it back in my head. It still works. I mean, in and of itself, that's hilarious. Maybe it could be anyone under that bag. Was I even there that year?
Ooh.
We don't know.
we've had a lot of ideas over the years, but for that year, we had thought about how funny it'd be if we just had some random dude in your jacket.
I just find someone. Hey, would you mind taking a photo with my family?
This was last year, which was COVID, so the fair was canceled. Yeah, so we tried contacting the fair to get the name of the people that do the photo booth that we go to, because we were like, if we could pay them like $100 to go out there and get that background, we could still get our photo. So we tried, and then we were like, shoot, we are just gonna have to take matters into our own hands, because we were like, we have to take a photo. We can't skip a year, because year 10 is like the big one. So this actually worked out the best because of his look this year. There's no way we could have done that live at the fair.
Yeah. We put a balloon over my head, and there was a little bit of a thing coming up at the top, so I put a hat on to cover it up. But obviously the balloon started out very small, and it had to fit over my head, which took away my ability to breathe. And then we had to sit down and take our own photo. So I think one of us was using our Apple Watch to run the camera that was set up on a tripod. We took several practice pictures to try to get the framing right, but essentially what we had to do was sit down, get the balloon over my head, which is very difficult.
Without it breaking, because I think we went through a couple that broke.
She was having to help me, and then as soon as it was on, I couldn't breathe. And then she had to sit down. We had to get situated. One of us had to run the camera on our watch and then take the photo. And then she would run over real quick to look at it and see if it worked, while I was like trying to like create a pocket to breathe. And anyway, that was the result of 2 hours of work.
Probably more. I mean, we had to go find that background fabric at Joann's, which I think we got pretty close.
Pretty close. But if the idea with this was, you look at the photo and you're kind of scanning, you see Nash, you see Crystal, oh, it's all good, it's cute, nice little family photo. And then you get to me and you're like, what's wrong with that guy's face?
Is he like?
What is going on with his face? And it's not super obvious, so that's what I love about it. And
I voted for him to keep the hat off, because maybe I'll slap up one of the photos of him with his hat off, because I think it looks pretty funny, because you can tell what it is. And in this one, people, I know that's part of it, because people were like, oh, you put a stocking over your head.
You take the hat off, it immediately is like, oh, here's a guy with a balloon on his head.
Which is funny.
If you put the hat on, you're like, what's going on with his face? Like, what is that his face?
Yeah, the thing is, though, everyone that commented about it on Facebook was like, what is that? Was that a stocking? And then when we said it was a special balloon, everyone freaked out and was like, no way.
Because of the reveal. If it's obvious, it's not as funny.
No, I think you're right. Jess had to go to work. So I'm going to wrap up this video. And I think we had left off talking about year 10. And the idea behind it was that the kids and I would each pick our favorite year out of all of Jess's looks and reimagine them as our own. This is year 10 button. Let's see if I can get it good without the glare on there. I'll put it up on the screen here. This one was super fun, and all along we were, like I said, gonna have Jess look normal. So you can see in it, we're still wearing our Costco jackets, which we've had for over 10 years now, and they are still holding up, which is great. Nash picked the nerd look, Emery picked the goth look, and then I picked the powder look, or the whatever he described it as. And we had a ton of fun. Nash was like living for this experience. He had so much fun walking around the fair. He was practicing his double chin for like days before. And then Emery was a little less excited about it because she thought she looked silly, but we thought she looked really cute and could still pull off the goth look. She thinks she looks bad, but I think she pulled it off. And then for me, doing powder was, again, quite the ordeal, because I had to go out and get all the stuff, it looks like I have no eyebrows, and in Jesse's looks like he doesn't have any eyebrows, but there's a trick that a lot of people that are doing costume makeup or drag makeup do, where you get a purple glue stick and you put it on your eyebrows, and then you brush all the hairs up. And you do that like 3 or 4 times, and you put like a concealer on it that's a little bit like of an orangey tone for me, and then some primer, and then you put your foundation on. And so it's this huge long ordeal, and when you looked really close you could totally tell, but from far away we were able to pull it off. And so I had to, again, like Jess, get ready and do all that here in Anchorage. And then we had to drive out to the fair, and for the first time I experienced what Jesse has experienced these past 9 years of like the embarrassment of waiting in line, having people look at you. So that was unique for me this year, but I essentially put my hood over, and I couldn't just have my hood on with my head down because the makeup was a foundation, so it was still kind of wet, and I didn't want to mess it up, and so I had to like hold my hood out and walk down, and I couldn't see anything except for the wagon we brought. And so I'm just like weaving in and out of traffic, following the kids' footsteps. And then we get in line, and of course there's like 20 people in line, and little kids are looking at us, and I had to just like put on the game face, and it really did give me a greater appreciation for all the work that Jess has done over the years. So we got the photo. I think it was a win, and it was a lot of fun to do. I hope you enjoyed this video and a little look into the weirdness that is my husband, and all of us really. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.